Company announced a massive new 5-year deal with OpenAI. Cannot explain to people how big this is. Joining us now, first on CNBC, CEO Lisa Su, and OpenAI's co-founder and president, Greg Brockman. Congratulations to both. Lisa, I'd like to start with you, okay?
Yeah, good morning. Great to see you guys.
Great to see you. Now, Lisa, this is a huge coup because I think a lot of people felt that you were nowhere near NVIDIA in terms of being able to power, in terms of compute. Why don't you tell us why you think what you've done in the last 2 years that make people realize that, wait a second, this is not a one-horse game?
Well, first of all, Jim, it's great to be here with this morning. It's a big day for AMD. It's a big day for our relationship with OpenAI. And frankly, I think it's an important day for the AI industry, right? What we're seeing is there's just a massive demand for more compute. I mean, there's so many applications for AI. There's so many places where we'd like to see it used. And, compute is the foundation of that. So we're super excited to announce this deal with OpenAI. I think it has been, something that we've been working on for a long time. And I think it's says a lot about, sort of the importance of having, the right compute technology to really power this next wave of AI. So very, very exciting. It's a huge deal. 6 gigawatts is a massive deployment at scale. And, we love working with OpenAI, truly a leader in this great industry.
Okay, so Greg, I've not been able to meet you, and I feel remiss. Obviously, you're one of the most important people in this world of AI. I wanted to ask you: a lot of people feel that there was a deal that you made with NVIDIA, and was something I was loathsome. People were saying it was circular. I thought that was just blasphemy, because I felt that they really were going to go to whoever else had great power. You went to Lisa and AMD. Why? What attracted you? What was in the chips that you felt made it so you didn't just need NVIDIA?
We need as much computing power as we can possibly get. And I think the whole industry right now is trying to really adapt to the amount of demand for AI services that we see coming over the next couple of years. And I think that when it comes to the suppliers of this computing power, I think that NVIDIA has something very special. We use them for training, we use them for inference. AMD, I think, also is really sort of delivering in terms of the next generation of chip that they've been working on. We've been providing feedback. We've been doing a lot of software work to be able to enable it for inference within our infrastructure. And we really see the whole ecosystem as being something that's coming together to deliver the amount of inference that will be required to bring AI to everyone at scale.
And why the warrant deal? Was it not enough to just have a terrific partnership?
Yeah, maybe, Jim, let me make a comment on that. First of all, I think we have to get really on this big picture of, Sam and Greg need more AI compute, and, our job is to deliver that. The thought process around the warrants is, it's actually hard to build these, huge gigawatt deployments in data centers. And we wanted to make sure that this is a long-term deal. So it is really an opportunity for us to align AMD and OpenAI together over the long term. And the idea is, as OpenAI deploys compute, that's a huge benefit to AMD in terms of the amount of revenue that we get from that. Every gigawatt of compute is significant double-digit billions of revenue to us. And as part of that, we have to work really closely together to make sure those deployments are super successful. And as we do that, OpenAI gets to benefit, from some of the success of our work together. So it really is, the best in terms of tying performance to each other. And I want OpenAI to be extraordinarily successful, and this gives OpenAI a reason to want us to be successful as well.
Lisa, can you talk a bit about how the dynamic, the element of the ownership in AMD came about, and how you see that playing out?
Well, this is like a new world. When you talk about the type of scale that we're trying to build, the capital intensity of what you need to do, and frankly, the long-term partnership that you need for this type of stuff to be successful. And as Greg said, we've been working with OpenAI for some time. They've given us really good feedback, and frankly, they have some of the best engineers in the world, and they actually, give us a lot of feedback on what we can do better. And so our roadmap today is really exciting. exciting. Today we are shipping the MI350, which has great adoption, but we're even more excited about our next generation, MI450. And this was an opportunity for us to go big together and ensure that the companies are completely aligned as we go forward over the next few years. And the beauty of this is it's all performance related, right? We have to perform and build great chips, which we're confident of. OpenAI has to have all the best models out there to consume all this compute. And together, we're going to optimize and ensure that the roadmap is really strong going forward.
And I think on the call you did say it would be highly accretive to both revenue and earnings.
That's right. That's right. This is a great opportunity for us to really, turbocharge our AI footprint. It is significantly accretive to AMD shareholders on day one, and as OpenAI deploys more, we continue to have accretion in terms of revenue growth as well as earnings, and most importantly, we get a long-term partner to address all of this AI compute that the world needs.
Greg, I think a lot of people are saying that you and I, Sarah Fryer, Sam, dreamers, that you have great growth, terrific, obviously maybe the fastest growing company in history, but that doesn't matter. You don't have the money, and this is just one of those things at 1999, 1998. Does it get tiresome to hear about that nonsense? Does anyone realize on Wall Street or when you meet them that this is the fourth industrial revolution? The world is going to change, and you don't want to be left behind.
I mean, I absolutely think that the world is changing as a result of this kind of technology. And in many ways, you can think of AI as making computers much more useful than they've ever been, almost fulfilling the promise of what they were supposed to be, right? You think about how much of using a computer right now is you contorting yourself to the interface and you thinking hard about the problems and the computer doing a small amount of productivity enhancement. But where we're heading is machines that are much more capable and have this almost intelligence within them. And we're seeing the productivity gains across every sector of the economy. People are using ChatGPT, 800 million weekly active users, and these models, we know how to make them much more capable. And so that's really what's driving the progress, is that we're on this exponential of AI improvement. And we've been on that trajectory, not just for a year, not just for 3 years since releasing ChatGPT, but really for the whole decade OpenAI has been around, and the whole industry for much longer. And so what we're really seeing is a world where there's going to be absolute compute scarcity because there's going to be so much demand for AI services, and not just from OpenAI, really from the whole ecosystem. And so that's why it's just so important for this whole industry to come together and say, how can we build in advance of this compute desert that we're heading towards otherwise?
All right, Lisa, I think that I've known you for some time. I just got to ask this. Did it cross your mind, well, I don't know, maybe these guys can't pay. I'm making this big build out, and here I am. I'm listening to Wall Street. Wall Street says they don't have the money, and maybe I'm being foolish.
Well, actually, no, Jim. I'll tell you with very, very clear, this is the new world. I mean, AI compute can drive so much intelligence in the world. We see it everywhere. I mean, we love the partnership with OpenAI, but frankly, we have a number of other customers that are doing great work in AI. And the fact is, this is an entire industry and ecosystem. It's not just about, what's happening today. It's really about what we can enable in the future. And, I'd like to say, we're on like a 10-year growth path with AI, and we're still in the very early innings. And at the end of the day, you need the foundational compute to do that. And you need partnerships like this that really bring the ecosystem together to ensure that, we can really get the best technologies, out there. So we're super excited about the opportunities here. And frankly, it's what AI can do for the world. It is, beyond the infrastructure, but we're, very happy to be able to provide a significant piece of this infrastructure.
And Greg, to Jim's point, I mean, there's the financing concern, but there's also sort of the broader public concern about how the technology at large will displace employment, the drain on resources, whether that's water or electricity, what it does to local communities if a data center is built. Is the industry, in your view, sort of prepping a way to educate America or the world why they should be not as worried about those things?
Yeah, I think there's two aspects to this. One is the industry really preparing to improve every part of the supply chain. And I think that that's everything from the electrons to the silicon. And if you look at where the technology is going, that I think that things like water use, that we're moving away from air-cooled data centers towards these water-cooled data centers that are on a closed loop. And so that I think actually that the resources required are something that we're really focused on trying to make sure that there can be enough, and that the benefits of the AI technology that are commensurate. I think people really understanding why, like why is AI important? Why is this something that is worth building? Is very fundamental, and that's very fundamental to OpenAI's mission. You know, our mission is to ensure that this technology benefits everyone, that it benefits all of humanity, and that what we've been seeing is not just that there's productivity enhancement, but we're moving to a world where AI will be able to help humanity solve challenges that we would be unable to solve otherwise. Think about solving, curing various diseases. Think about being able to educate every person with an AI that's at the level of the top PhDs in every single field for free on your phone. We're not that far from these kinds of enhancements. And I think that we're heading to a world where AI will help humanity just do more than we possibly could otherwise. And the fact that we've seen this level of adoption already, when the AI, it's capable, but it's really we're at the beginning stages compared to where we will be in just a couple of years. I think that people are starting to understand not just the theory of why this is important, but they're seeing it practically in their everyday lives.
All right, so Greg, some people are saying you're doing this out of fear that you'll be overrun by others unless you buy all these chips. And some people are saying, look, it's just flat out demand. And if you were there, you would realize you have no choice, but you have to spend. Which narrative do you think is more accurate?
No choice. We have to do this. This is so core to our mission. If we really want to be able to scale to reach all of humanity, this is what we have to do. Like, we're already in a world where we are unable to launch many features in ChatGPT, many products that would generate lots of revenue simply because of lack of compute power. Things like, yeah, it's really wild when I just look at how much we are held back. And in many ways, we have, we've scaled our compute probably 10x over the past year. But if we had 10x more compute, I don't know if we'd have 10x more revenue, but I don't think it'd be that far.
Wow. Okay, that's really important. Lisa, look, I'm a believer, but to sit here and decide that this man who's in it doesn't know more than some reporter, I'm not going to go there. Lisa, I got to ask China for a second. I mean, you lost some revenue in China. I know China seems very minuscule today, but your talks with the White House, I mean, don't you think that the president wants things built on an American platform and not built on a Huawei platform?
Well, first of all, Jim, I just want to reinforce what Greg said. I mean, this is a place where AI compute is needed everywhere. And, our goal is to get as much AI compute deployed as possible. So super excited about that. As it relates to China, look, we view that it's important for the American AI stack to be used around the world as much as possible. We appreciate the president's support. This administration has been extremely supportive to us as American companies, and we'll continue to work through those pieces. But today is really about just the global AI demand and the opportunity to, as Greg says, deploy as much compute as possible. We have the technology, we have the supply chain, we have the partnerships. Really special day for us, and we view this as the beginning of lots and lots of things that we will be doing together.
Absolutely. Greg, some people say you are looking and targeting certain verticals. I mean, announced the Etsy deal last week. I mean, maybe it's retail. We know that you with Stargate, it could be massive compute. We're not sure. Do you want to be in every vertical? Because if you want to be in, is this one of those where if you fight in every battle, you can't win any? Are there some that you just think, look, we don't want to be in autonomous driving, we don't want to be in robots? Or do you say the world's our oyster, let's be in everything, we can win everything?
Well, and first of all, I'd also like to add to what Lisa said, that I think compute power is going to become a national security asset. And I think that having as much compute power as possible for each nation is going to be something that we'll see on the world stage. And that's part of what feeds all of this demand and need to do the build out. In terms of the verticals that we're in, I think that this is always a very difficult decision for us, because we really think about AI as something that lifts up the whole economy, but we can't possibly be experts in every single domain of the economy. So we have to focus on the areas that we can most understand and add value and that really accrete together. And so we think about things like coding, that's an area that we've really gone deep. We've released models like Codex and systems around it that are used by developers to be able to achieve much more than they would otherwise. And we think that bringing that into various enterprise verticals, right, in AI for sales, in AI for customer support, that is able to enhance what people are able to do and help every company be much more productive, we think that that is the next step. So there are some verticals where it's just too far afield for us to really get our hands dirty, but we really see that we want to be the driving force behind an industry that is going to transform every vertical of the economy. All
right. Finally, Greg, I hope you'll allow me one question on Sora, because Sam did have a blog post on Friday where he said, look, we're beginning to hear back from users and rights holders and people who want the ability to specify how their characters can be used, including not at all. Can you just give us a preview on what kind of safeguards you have in mind?
Well, Sora, first of all, is a really transformative new technology, and it's been really amazing to see the excitement and enthusiasm and passion of all the Sora creators. And I think that whenever you have a new technology that's coming into the world, that really figuring out how to turn it into something that is able to benefit everyone is something we're very focused on. And so we've been really focused on taking feedback from every sector, right? From really listening to rights holders, listening to users, trying to figure out where does this technology most benefit people. So we're really thinking about that this is something new. Like that when we were first playing with the technology, we had some ideas of how existing short-form video apps might map to this kind of technology. But the truth is, the world's never seen anything like Sora, and the amount of creativity that we've seen unleashed, and even just the ability to put yourself into a video, no one's ever had anything like that. And so I think there's a whole new opportunity here for a new industry and for ways for people to enhance their existing IP portfolios and to create whole new ones.
Thank you, Greg, so much. And again, Lisa, those who doubted you obviously are suboptimal thinkers. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you so much. Great to see you guys this morning.
Thank you.
Greg and Lisa, hitters.
Yeah, that's a seminal interview right there. Jim, we'll see you tonight.
Thank you.
When we come back.